Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
November 2, 2020, the Zombie Directors edition. And we begin with that story from the Financial Times. What's a zombie director? Well, that's a director who's received less than 50% majority vote from investors to stay on, yet the company refuses to get rid of them. Why is this important from a compliance perspective? Well, it's because if a company is willing to engage openly in bad governance, it really shines the light that there are probably other corporate governance issues and probably even compliance issues going on. It's certainly a red flag as well. So it's rare for board directors to draw even the slightest shareholder disapproval. 95% is considered very problematic. So when you get less than 50%, that means you're a pretty crummy director and you need to be on to do something else. Next up, once a cheat, always a cheat. And this is why you have to do due diligence. The author Ruth Shallett, now known as Ruth Shallett Barrett, who became known in the 90s for plagiarism for articles she wrote for the New Republic, recently had a derailment on her comeback career when she made up a character for a story in the Atlantic on a nonfiction piece. She admitted that the character was not fact, or so that it was fictional. And it really goes to show why you need to do due diligence. Should somebody be given a second chance? Probably. But if you do have evidence that they've engaged in fraud previously, as Ms. Shallett did, then you need to put some pretty clear controls around this. And the Atlantic fact-checked her article, yet somehow missed her creation of a fictional character which was used in her piece. So there was an internal control, but for whatever reason, it was ineffective. So it just goes to show that you must trust but verify. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Focus Brands president, that's a company that owns Cinnabon and other franchises, really believes that diversity is the way to go for corporations. And here she means diversity on the board. And it's, I think, a really telling that, first of all, this is Kat Coles, who is a female, but the business community recognizes, unlike the Trump administration, who has come out fully against diversity and against equal employment opportunities, that diversity adds to the corporate experience. It makes a corporation better, and that it's something that corporations should strive for going forward. And finally, our final story is very counterintuitively, also reported in the Financial Times, is that EY has continued to get more DAX audits. That's the stock exchange in Germany. It's nearly doubled its market for shares of accounting members in the country's blue chip DAX index. Obviously, no accounting for getting it right by these companies. So kudos to EY with more audits after Wirecard. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.